Hello everyone, I am Will, and welcome back to my playthrough of Dark Souls 2, Skull of the First Sin. Last we left off, we did the Iron Passage, yep, the first little challenge zone of the Iron Crown DLC. Yep. Yeah, it's not very fun, no. There's actually like two separate paths. You have, like, I would say the direct path, which is lined with ash warriors and surrounded by, fume sorceresses and astrologers and possessed armors on the high ground you can't quite get to without ranged attacks. And at the very end is an iron warrior, just kind of blocking the fall gate. Yeah, and the fact that you can be staggered out of traversing fall gates does not help. Because even if you run past all that, you get to the fall gate, you try to pass through it, you can still get knocked out of the animation, so you get trapped. And considering the Iron Warrior's there, and possessed armor, and an astrologer is like right in that last room, very bad. But we actually ended up taking the alternate path. Yeah, it's kind of it's a longer way around, but it keeps you up on the high ground. And the only other downside is that there are two, I call them salamander gates. Yeah, you have to pull a lever, the gate opens up, and it's a timed gate. Yeah. However, it also opens up several cages with ash warriors that come running out once you pull the lever. Yeah. And at the end of that little hallway is a salamander statue that also shoots fireballs, trying to stop you from going that way. So there's two of them on that path, but luckily if you just pull the lever and just sprint immediately towards the gate, you should be able to get through it if you weave between the ash warriors and dodge the little fireballs. But so we are, how do I say this? We basically went through the alternate path. Had to do a few little backtracks because there are little items in those side gates with the ash warriors. They're not particularly important. I think the first set had, 7 large shards, if I remember right. And through the first gate is an astrologer, a little miracle casting boy. Yeah, I think the first thing he does, he casts Promised Walk of Peace, which slows movement speed and causes you to heavy fat roll, basically. Yeah. And it basically slows you down, but also slows him down, but he's already wearing some pretty light stuff, so he's not really as affected as you would be. But luckily, they're not terrible. And they do have some health, but one full combo from our Dragon Slayer Spear took him down, so that was a plus. Yep. And there was two paths. One went deeper. One took us to the first little ledge with a fume sorceress and 2 crimson waters, I believe. And then we continued down the alternate path. Came upon the second salamander door, which had a fume sorceress guarding the little switch. Again, we didn't go through it the first time because there were some more items in the little cells with the ash warriors that spawn out when you activate the gate. And so we took care of the warriors, picked up, I think it was a simpleton spice as well as torches. Yeah, like 5 torches or something like that. So, since that gate was closed, we took the little alternate path, or the side path. That led us to a possessed armor, as well as a astrologer on the high ground, which we would have gotten to if we went through the second gate. But fortunately, that astrologer did fall down, allowing us to deal with him. And so we dealt with that. Went back to the second salamander lever room. It had another path, which took us down to the final main room. And that put us on the same level as the final astrologer, but below the possessed armor. Yeah. And so we dealt with the astrologer in melee, ranged the possessed armor, and then we took on the Iron Warrior guarding the Fall Gate. And at that point, we decided to take on the Blue Smelter Demon. It just it's another, well, he's basically the same as the Smelter Demon in the Iron Keep, except that he has magic damage, and he can delay some of his attacks. So his attack timings are a bit different from the one in the Iron Keep, so he could trip you up that way. And he also, again, does magic damage instead of fire. I believe they're one and the same. I believe when we go to the DLC, we're kind of in the past. Because I believe we're in the past. Yeah, after... At least that's what I think, anyway. Because when you interact with the little shrine to enter the DLC, you get the little ash kind of appears, which I believe indicates we're in the past, or time traveled. So... Because the Smelter Demon, the Blue Smelter Demon has 2 horns, but the one in Iron Keep only has 1. It's like a broken other horn. So that's just my theory. So we took care of the Smelter Demon. We utilized poison for that fight as well, because poison is very strong. So yeah, so we poisoned him any chance we get with our Dark Fog, and we just kind of dealt with him with our Dragon Spear. Yep, so we beat him up and got a soul, and our reward for that challenge zone was the Pharaoh's Mask, which is an interesting mask that just coats you in water. Yeah, it applies like the wet status effect to you, raising fire defense, lowering light defense, so it could be useful, but... And the last thing we did in the Iron Passage was made our way back to the second Salamander Gate. Went through it this time, and that would allow us to get to the possessed armor in the final room, which guarded, I think, 3 old growth bombs and a few cracked red eye orbs. So, I mean, the growth bombs were okay, but the eye orbs were, So, and with that, we were finished up the Iron Passage. And at that point, I decided we went to go and fight Raimi, the Fume Knight. I think he's pronounced Raimi. I call him Raimi, so... But we went and took on the Fume Knights. Yep. It's another Knight-type boss enemy. Yep. We did die to him once. His Fume Ultra Greatsword has a much longer reach than you would think. So if you think you're out of range, you're not, probably. So... Yeah, he caught us with the tip of it. So, yeah. And so we went back, changed up our weapon. I think we went to the Dragkeeper sword, and we took on a few nights again. This time we went slow and steady, just kind of picking and choosing our fights to regen stamina or to heal up. And the second time's the charm. So we took him down, got his soul, as well as a fragment of Nadalia's soul. And after that, we went and grabbed the Crown of the Iron King. Yep. That's which was located just past Raimi's arena in a little room containing, I believe, the actual body of Nadalia. And her actual body that she, I would say, forsook or burnt away, that turned to ash. And the last thing we did was we went and bought Raimi's armor set from Molden, or Marigold, the guy in the merchant guy in Iron Keep. Yeah, he has the armor set for the Iron Crown DLC. And so when we defeat Sir Lawn's armor is going to be with him as well. And I think that was it. Yeah, I think that's all we did last episode. Yep. Did the Iron Passage, and we took on the Fume Knights. Yep. Yeah, got a lot done. The Iron Passage was actually not quite as bad as I remember it. I remember it being a lot worse, but I guess that's because we took the alternate path, and we were pretty well equipped for the enemies there, so that definitely made it a lot I won't say easier, but definitely made it less of a hassle. And between episodes, I didn't do anything. Nope. I did nothing. Yeah. So, all our equipment's gonna be the same, levels the same, all that stuff. And today we're going to finish up the Crown of the Iron King. Yep. The last thing we have to do is the Memory of the Iron King. Yep. Which we have to activate with the. You have to interact with the Sir Alon's armor over there. Yep. You can only access it with the Ashen Mist Heart. So if you do the DLC before the main story, until you get the Ashen Mist Heart, you cannot enter the memory there. So, yeah. In order to, again, you need the Mist Heart, and you also need to beat Raimi and claim the Crown of the Iron King in order to access this memory. But it is also the second challenge zone here in the DLC. Yep. This one should be a lot, I won't say straightforward than the Iron Passage. There should be just one main route, but it's going to be filled with Alon knights and captains and some salamanders. Yeah, but luckily, if I remember right, the salamanders in there have much less health than the ones in Forest of the Giants, so it should be a lot easier. But yeah. So we'll make our way through the memory, and at the end should be the fight with Sir Alon. Yep. And he has the last smelter wedge that we need in order to get the last fragment of Nadalia's soul to get her soul proper. Yep. Because there's one more ash idol we need to break, but we need the smelter wedge from Sir Alon. So that is the plan. And do the Memory of the Iron King, take on Sir Alon, get the last of Nadalia's soul, and then check out what we can get from her soul, his soul, and Raimi's soul. Yeah, so there should be a few weapons we can make, but and our equipment for today, we're going to start off with our Lightning Claymore +10. Yep. I am going to use this for the Memory of the Iron King, but I probably will change this out for our fight with Sir Alon. Because he's a pretty quick opponent, so the Claymore here is probably I mean, we could hit him with it, but I'd rather have a faster weapon. But for now, we're going to stick with our Lightning Claymore, at least for the Iron Passage. We got our Hunter Black Bow, because we should be able to take out some of the salamanders from range, so we'll do it that way. King's Shield should be our standard shield. I have my Dragon Chime, because I do have lightning, because the Alon Knights are weak to lightning, so hopefully that should soften them up before they can come to us. And our rings, Calanthe Ring. Ring of Blades probably won't help that much. We'll just put on Steel Protection. Stone Ring, because hopefully we can stagger the Knights within one hit. Wasn't quite sure what to use here, so I went with the Simpleton's Ring. Yeah, this just boosts our ADP by 5. Yeah, giving us a bit more iframes. Not much, but we'll take what we can get. So I went with that. This might change depending on the situation, but I'm going to go with this for now. And I have my little Alva get-up, the Desert Sorceress Hood. It's only +6, so I should probably upgrade this when I can. Alva Armor, Gauntlets, and Leggings. Yep, all +9. Solid defense value for the weight. Yep, with our Ring of Steel Protection, got pretty solid physical defenses. And I have Estus Flask, Radiant Life Gems. I would have Alluring Skulls, but the Alon Knights are not susceptible to them, so no. Nope. Although I could probably use maybe I don't know. I'll leave it blank for now. If I think of something, I'll put it there. But yeah, for now, I'll just have these two. We got our arrows and poison arrows. Here are our stats. I think I leveled up dexterity once at the end of the last episode. So I'm going to focus on getting our dexterity up to 40, And then I'll probably get our strength up a bit as well after that. But so for now, I'm going to focus on dexterity. Alright. I also have 3 copies of Great Lightning Spear, Sunlight Spear, and Great Heal. Wasn't sure what to put here at the end, so I just went with Great Heal. I should probably trade out the Sunlight Spear and the Great Heal for Denial, but we'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. Denial. You never have enough denial. It saved us against sin, so might as well take it through the memory of the Iron King. Alright. I think I rambled on long enough. Shall we get this show on the road? I'd say so. Yeah. This is considered a memory, so we are on a time limit going through it. So that's kind of why this should be a straightforward passage to Sir Lon, but I mean, if I have to, the enemies in the memory are susceptible to the despawn rule of all the enemies, so you beat them up about 12 times and they'll despawn. So if we have to, I will do that, but I hope I don't have to, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll be lucky like the Iron Passage and just get through it once, take on Sir Alon and beat him up one time, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Alon's pretty hard. Yeah, it's pretty quick. I'm not very good at it, so we might die once or twice. But alright. Alright, Sir Alon, here we come. Man, this is gonna be rough. Yep. Memory of the old Iron King. Yep. Should tell us we know. Time is limited. But we have 2 summon signs. We have, who are you? Drifter Swordsman Adele? Maybe. I'm not gonna summon them, but I just want to see who they are. And Steel-Willed Lori. Another Mastodon Knight. She might be useful getting through the passage, but if I have to, I will. But I'm gonna see if we can do it without it. Yeah, one cannot reside within the memory for long. There's an Alon Knight. There's the Salamanders. There's, I think, another knight there. Looks like a captain. Ah, there we go. Yeah, much less health than the ones in the forest. So that's 3. Looks like 4. Alright, whatever. There should be a few more of those in Alon, guys. Yeah, if I can lure them off one at a time, that'd be fine. And we'll trade, I don't care. Took care of him. Come on. I should stick with the spear or something, but Soapy stones. Effigies will take. Skeptic spice, sure, I guess. Could have probably poisoned him when he was getting over here. I was hoping to backstab him, but oh well. Thank you. Don't think there are any fake walls in here, so... God damn, you hit... Blocking them just causes us to freaking stagger backwards, which is not very good when we're trying to counterattack, but... Bunch of rusted coin, I'll take it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are no fake walls in here, but I'm gonna check where we can. Like another section. Yeah. Alright. Looks like that salamander dropped something. I'll go this way. Yep. Red eye orb. Sure. Alright. Alright. As with any challenge zone, there's always drop downs. There's no way back up. This is just where I think the archers are at. I'll slow on my inputs. Alright. Oh, just has enough health. That's fine. So I think we do need to drop down further, but before that we're gonna check out the rest of this. There he is. He's on the left. And the right. Okay, there's two of them. Alright. If you want to come in... great. If they want to come in, that's fine, but it's actually not a bad idea luring them over here. Repair powders. A couple of radiant life gems. I'm pretty sure he can hit you through the floor, so just be careful. And what's through here? Oh. So that's Sirloin over there. Okay. Okay. So it's actually not that bad. Alright, So we're gonna go down. We're gonna deal with this lower section because that's our lawn. There we'll clear this zone out. Yeah, I saw his little bow. In front of the salamander, yep. You're dead. Let's check out the rest of this area. There's an item over there. There goes the lawn knights. Alright, so we might do another run through just for Sir Lawn. Alright. So I don't know how much more time we have, because Sir Lawn is going to take a while to fight. I'll leave this back up. This should be Twin Blade plus 7. Cool. You should be the final enemy here. Alright. Oh, I hear... Thank you. That should be all the enemies. Alright. That should be everything. The only thing left should be Sir Lawn, which is right through here. Alright, so if this is Sir Lawn, I'm going to change this weapon out. You know what? We'll go katana as well. Not gonna need that. Keep that. This is gonna be useless. So let's bring a blades. All right. This is probably gonna be useless also because we're not gonna be quick enough to cast it, but we'll have it. All right. Alright. Sir Lawn. Yeah, I don't know how much time we have, so we're just going to jump right in. He's basically another knight type enemy. He's quick, he hits hard, he's pretty aggressive like the few knights, so... Alright. I hope this is Sir Lawn. I could be wrong, but let's see. Oh. Almost forgot denial. Alright. Yeah, I saw it coming too. Yeah, it's gonna be a don't think you can parry him, but... got the back end. As a grab. Yeah. I'm expecting him to follow up on some of his attacks, but he's not doing it. Yeah. thought I dodged, but I guess not. Yeah. We might not win this one. Ah. Why was I stuck in the animation? I think that's a parry stance. It's like I'm gonna get really one hit off. I'm expecting him to follow up to that attack, but he's not doing it like that. Really? Let's get stamina back. Alright. That was Soul of Surlon. Alright, that actually was wasn't too bad. Yeah, started off rough because I'm not used to his fight, so he's pretty quick, as you saw. Yeah, his little charge. I knew his charge attack came out fast. I was expecting it to be that fast, so that's why we got hit at the beginning there. Yep. And once again, Denial did save our butts. Yeah. Crushing that little Radiant Life Gem took a lot longer than I'm used to. I don't know why, but you know, you hit the thing, and I was trying to dodge out of the way of the attack, but it still hit us, and but I think we were stuck in that animation. But again, Denial saved our butts. Yep. So he's a pretty straightforward fight. Again, he's just pretty quick. He's agile. Yeah. Don't expect to get multiple hits in. Just dodge attack, swing once, and he'll probably reposition and come at you with either a stab or a dashing slash, whatever. Yep. Yep. He's a very good fight. Probably one of the best fights in Dark Souls 2, in my opinion. Yeah, he's just very good fight. Yeah, and the floor is really nice and polished, too. Huh. Surlon. Not much to say about him, because just don't get grabbed and you should be fine. Yeah, when his sword has a purple glow on, or a black glow on it, it's a grab attack. If you get grabbed, it does give him a damage boost, so just be mindful of that. Yeah, so but luckily we avoided it, thank God. And we got his soul of Surlon. Yep. Who once served the old Iron King. Yep. Surlon came from an eastern land and became the king's most trusted knight. Yep. Use this to acquire souls or to create something of great worth. And I believe it's just his weapon. I believe it's the only thing you get from it. I think the few knights you get his ultra great sword or his other sword. But whew, all right, that was actually not bad. Let's take a peek at, like, right up in a tower. Through here should be his this chair. There should be nothing on there. We examine it. Smelter wedge. The final smelter wedge we need in order to get the last of Nadalia's soul fragment. Yep. Checking out the chair real quick. Alright. We examine again, and we should exit. Alright. Memory of the Iron King. That was actually a lot less painful than I remembered. I remember there being at least a third section to that thing, but... Oh. And... the final ash idol should be down these stairs. And we dealt with the prowler, so they shouldn't spawn again. Knock on wood. There it is. Use the wedge. Surprising that Sirlon, in the memory, Sirlon had a smelter wedge. It's like the Nadalia... Sorry, just trying to listen to the sound, but did Nadalia came after? Like, was Sirlon still here when Nadalia came, or did he leave before Nadalia came and he was kind of preparing to destroy her and all that stuff? I don't know. It's interesting that we find a smelter wedge in that memory, because the Vendrick soldiers at the beginning of Broom Tower had a couple smelter wedges. So it kind of tells me that Nadalia came while Sirlon was still here, but I don't know. It's just odd, but... Soul of Nadalia, Bride of Ash. Oop. And that means the fragments coalesced into Nadalia's no more. True Soul of Nadalia acquired. All 12 fragments merged to create Nadalia, Bride of Ash. We renounced her flesh and wandered Broom Tower. In the act of dancing, the Bride of Ash was transfigured as smoke, enticing people to her residence, and so her seat of power came to be known as the Broom Tower. Transfigured as smoke, enticing people to her residence. Became known as the Broom Tower. I have to look up what broom means in this context, because that means that she's enticed people. Hold on, I have a dictionary right here. Broom. Mist or fog. Okay, that explains. So it's a fog tower or a mist tower, which... Alright, so it's just a fancy word for mist or fog. Okay. Which fits, because I think one of the items said it felt like a dark fog, so that's... that definitely fits. Yeah. Alright. That was less painful than I remembered. Thankfully. Alright, so let's go to Ornifex to see what we can get from these souls. It should be Alon's bewitched Alon's sword. I think it's from Alon's soul. Should be able to get the Fume Ultra Great Sword from Fume Knight, as well as his regular sword. What's up, Ornifex? Alright. So let us trade. The Fume Sword. Yep, this is his irregular sword. Standard and dark. Yep, straight sword forged from the soul of the Fume Knight and imbued with the dark of Nadalia. The exile swordsman Raimi had the ability to expunge the black fog, but chose instead to live alongside it, in the company of the child of dark that haunts his sword. So he had the power to lift the fog, but he chose to stick instead. Yeah, I think one of the...
Come again.
Was it his armor? That mother who gave him true purpose. Okay. There was... I'm trying to remember, there was something somewhere talked about how he came to love. Yeah, here it says, servants of the Black Fog, which is Nadalia after she shed her flesh. Hence the room tower is the Fog Tower, probably, but there's something somewhere that said he fell in love with her. I think it was the ring. No, it wasn't his ring. I don't know. I remember somewhere it said, he fell in love with Nadalia, but...
Do you?
Alright. So we get his regular sword. It's a straight sword with dark, so that might be useful. It is dex based, so that's helpful. And here's the Fume Ultra Great Sword. Yep. 40 strength, but it has scaling. Yep. The Exile Swordsman, yep. Same as the regular sword. Yep. Alright. Definitely get his regular sword. It is a straight sword after all, so that could be useful. I like that. I don't care for ultra great swords or great hammers or stuff like that, but and here's the aged smelter sword I get from the smelter demon. Yep. Its blade is imbued with great flame. Use strong attack to release its latent power. And the old Iron King acquired the power to grant life to heaps of iron. He molded a great array of metallic automatons. The iron monstrosity itself was perhaps one of the king's puppets. And this one does magic damage instead of fire. And here's the bewitched lawn sword. It's a katana, pretty good physical, got bleed on it. Although it's only 30 durability, but I need 2 more strength to wield it. Although we could two-hand it, or we could use the strength ring. But it's got B-scaling and dex, so that's really cool. Yeah, katana forged from the soul of Sir Lawn. Its captivating, undulating design serves to enchant the weapon's mystical allure. Arlon came from the east, and soon became the Iron King's most trusted knight. When he departed, the old Iron King bequeathed Sir Lawn's name to his iron warriors. Yeah. Ah, so the Arlon Knights are iron automatons, puppets. Alright, so I'm basically wrong about Alon. Yeah, because Alon left while the Iron King was still around, so that's throws that little theory out the window. So I'm guessing the memory was probably him. I don't know. The memories are time travel and all that, so I don't know when, but it had to be after Alon left the Iron King's service. But I don't know. I'll think about it. And here we have the Chime of Screams, yep, from the soul of Nadalia. Yep, for nothing appears sacred about the frightful design of this chime, but does have the benefit of raising one's faith. The oozing, frozen iron forming the bell seems to anticipate a scream. Yes, it does boost faith, however, it's proportional to your faith, like how much faith you have. The less the faith you have, the more faith this gives, and vice versa. The more faith you have, the less faith it gives. And it has a cast speed of 25, so yeah, it's very slow. Very slow. But interesting nonetheless. I have a feeling it was supposed to be 125, but not 25. That's everything from Ornifex. Let's check with Strayed, because I'm pretty sure we can get a pyromancy from Nadalia's soul. I think it's called Outcry, if I remember right. Steel, straight cell.
Well, this is a very unusual.
I think here. And here we go. Yep. Outcry, Soul of Nadalia. Pyromancy of Nadalia, Bride of Ash, spouts multiple dark flames. This child of dark, bearing inconceivable strength, found herself in a kingless land devoid of souls, and in journeying there has all but condemned herself to a fate most wretched. Yeah, she's inconceivable strength. Yeah, but a kingless land devoid of souls. Yeah, because all of the Iron King's puppets, warriors, are that puppets. They're soulless beings. He gave life to them, but they don't have souls, apparently. So, yeah. So, hence why she tried to entice people to the land. 45,000. We'll take it. I'd rather have this than the chime.
Once people, they seized it.
Alright.
Feeble, do you?
Alright. Let me just check with your spells.
Well, then fight.
Alright, nothing new.
Feeble, let's hope the best.
Alright. The last thing we gotta do is go to talk with King Vendrick, 'cause now we have another DLC crown. He should have some more dialogue for us. Let's journey on. Alright. Alright, King Vendrick, what do you have for us this time? Memory of the King. Alright, Vendrick. Talk to me.
Seeker of fire, I see you've subdued another foul creature. One of the father of the abyss spawn. That confounded quintessence of humanity. The abyss once had form, but then dissipated. And yet, traces of its existence endured. Each fragment, thirsting for power, spread dark with no relent. My dear Chandra was one such fragment. A feeble, tiny thing that thirsted for power more than any other. Driven by insatiable lust for a worthy vessel.
Yep. And we subdued another fragment of the Father of the Abyss. Yep. Which is Manus. Manus is the Father of the Abyss. Yep. So when we defeated him in Dark Souls 1, the Abyss that was kind of like coalesced in him dispersed. And it basically broke into fragments. With Ilana being one, Vidalia being one, and Vendrick here just confirmed that Nashandra is one, although he calls her Chandra. Yep. A tiny thing that thirsted for power. Yep. Looking for a worthy vessel, huh? A vessel for what? Yep. So.
Fire came to be, and with it, disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, light and dark.
Mm-hmm. And that's the beginning of the world, of the Age of Fire. Yep.
Dark was seen as a curse. Shadow is not cast, but born of fire. And the brighter the flame, the deeper the shadow. Inherit fire and harness the dark. Such is the calling of a true leader.
Yep. Dark was seen as a curse, but only to Gwyn. Yep. Gwyn saw it as a curse because, you know, it meant the end of his little reign. Yep. And shadows are not cast, but born of fire. Yep. Inherit the flame and harness the dark. Yep. I wish we could.
Dark was seen as a curse. Shadow is not cast, but born of fire. And the brighter the flame, inherit fire. Such is the calling.
Alright, I think that's all he has to say for us for now. Yep. Yep. Vendrick realized who his queen was. Yep. His queen was a child of dark, or a spawn of dark, as he called him. Yep. Latched onto him in order to gather power and. Yep. But what for? For a worthy vessel, he said, but... Alright. Yeah. Alright, so that's all he's going to have to say for us for now, until we get the final crown. Yep. Hey, Velstadt. Bye, Velstadt. Oh, Vendrick. I wouldn't say a tragic character, but definitely a fool. Well, not really a fool, but I would say more blinded by a desire, by his wants. I think he did love Nashandra, or at least the human part of Nashandra. Yeah, but once he realized who she truly was, I think that's where it kind of went downhill. But I guess he figured out who she truly was when he went to conquer the giants at her behest. Yeah. Alright, and with that, we'll call an episode. Yep. Short-ish and sweet. Yep. Luckily, the Memory of the Iron King wasn't that bad. Yeah, I remember it being a lot worse, but again, after, you know, wow, almost a decade of Souls-likes and being prepared, definitely has a way of making it easier on you. But, yep, we did the Memory of the Old Iron King. Yep. It's the other challenge zone of the Dark Souls 2, or the Iron King anyway. Just filled with Erlon Knights, a captain or two, and a few flame salamanders. Yep. In 2 big rooms. Yeah. Erlon Knights by themselves are pretty easy if you can get them one-on-one, but luckily our Claymore, Lightning Claymore, did easy work on them. 3 hits. Yeah, because Erlon Knights are weak to lightning, so having that Lightning Claymore definitely helped out. Yeah, so, and just use our arrows to pick off the salamanders at range and luring various knights to us. That definitely made it easier because then we could get one-on-one fights. But we just kind of slow and steady, relatively speaking, because I wasn't sure how long we could last in the memory, because it is a memory, so you only have a time limit. And I was kind of in a rush to get through it just to make sure I had enough time to fight Sir Alon. But so we just kind of picked off the knights, took care of the salamanders, grabbed an item here and there. There was a skeptic spice, smooth silky stones, human effigies, twin blade +7. Twin blade is probably going to be the real treasure in that little memory. And I was kind of surprised I was a lot shorter than I remember. I remember there being like a third room, but I guess the second room with the 2 levels is probably what I was thinking of. But yeah, luckily the 2 archers at the very end on that first level. I mean the second area, top level, the 2 archers in the very back. Luckily we aggroed both of them. We stepped to the side and they came at us, so that definitely helped out. So we just kind of cleared out the way to Sir Alon. Yep. And Sir Alon, good fight. Probably one of the better, if not the best fight in Dark Souls 2, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other fight that I really liked, but I think I have to say Sir Alon's probably one of the best. Yeah. At least I think he's one of the best fights in Dark Souls 2. He was a lot quicker than I knew he was going to be quick, but he was quicker than I expected. So we did get hit by him. And if you are able to beat him without getting hit, there is a special animation at the end that he'll commit seppuku. Yeah, he'll kill himself for the disgrace of not being able to hit you at least once. But he only does that if you don't get hit by him. But I'm not that good. I probably could do it, but I'll take my win where I can get them. Yeah, but other than his speed, he's a pretty straightforward fight. Yeah, a few simple combos, a dashing slash we can hit like across the room. That one's quicker than I expected. That one was quicker. Yeah, he's got some thrust attacks. He has a grab attack where he imbues his weapon in dark, and if you get hit by it, it empowers his attacks, making him a bit stronger. And other than that, it's just a straightforward fight. Yep. He likes to hop around, so getting in it one hit at a time is probably your best bet. You know, similar to the Feud Knight, just kind of pick and choose when you fight, when to regen stamina, when to heal, and all that stuff. And Denial did save us. Yep, I got caught in an animation. Caught in the old Radiant Life Gem animation, and he dashed across, smacked us. And luckily Denial kicked in, and our Life Gem was still in effect, so it saved us. Yeah, it saved us. So it's a good thing I put it on. But yep, so we just defeated Sir Alon. Yep. And the reward for that is the final smelter wedge. Yep. Examine his chair, you get the wedge, examine it again, and it puts you back outside of the memory. Yep. So with the final wedge, you went down to the final ash idol, destroyed it, claimed the final fragment of Nadalia's soul. Once you have all 12, they combine into her soul proper. Yep. So now we had the soul of Nadalia, you know, the proper soul. And I think after that, we went to Artifacts to check out what we could get from the souls. Went to Stray to check out what we could get from Nadalia's soul, which was Outcry. I'm pretty sure it's like a firestorm type attack. Yeah, but it's like it's dark flame, so I think it does physical and fire damage at the same time. So very strong, very strong. after that, we went to the undead crypt to go to the memory of the king to talk to Vendrick because he had some more stuff to say after collecting our second DLC crown. We talked about how, you know, Father of the Abyss, you know, after his defeat, the Abyss dispersed, but by dispersing, they coalesced into various fragments that became like the spawn of the Abyss, you know, like Alana and Adalia, and even Chandra herself. Vendrick said himself, that even Chandra was a child of dark. You know, a tiny, feeble thing, you know, wanting power. Yeah, so I guess at first he didn't know she was a child of dark. I think he came to actually genuinely love her. But once his conquest of the giants happened, I think that's when he found out the truth about her. And then he put his little plan into motion. You know, all the MILF, you know, traveling through the Shrine of Amana, separating his soul from his body, putting his hollow, having Velstadt take his hollow form through the undead crypt, and all that. You know, all those different countermeasures to those, like, what's the right word? Countermeasures against beings of dark. Yeah, so it basically meant the Dahlia could not get to his soul or his ring anytime soon. So I think at that point she might have tried. She did. I think there was a captive Milfinito in Drangelic Castle, so I think she did manage to capture one of them. But I think that's as far as she got. So I'm guessing she was waiting for an undead to come along that she could coerce into the undead crypt for Vendrick and all that. Yeah. So, yep. And then we talked with King Vendrick, and that was it. Yep, that was it. I like it when a plan comes together. Yeah. And with that, the crown of the Iron King is officially done. Yep. There's nothing left to do. Yep. The only thing I have left to do is just to farm for some items. The Iron Warrior drops the Minotaur helmet as well as the giant chicken leg iron club thing. I have to get those still, but they're not a priority. But I'll try to get to them. Yeah, the only issue is that those Iron Warriors are tough, and the closest ones to a bonfire is at the very bottom of the broom tower. I'm not 100% sure those will actually drop the weapon I'm looking for, but I guess we'll have to find out. Yeah. Anyway, and the next episode will be off to the Crown of the Ivory King. Yep, the final DLC for Dark Souls 2. We'll begin our adventures through Liam Lois. Yep. That one is going to be fun, or interesting at least. I think it's if I remember right, it's the hardest of the Crown DLCs. And the challenge zone for that is going to be a real, oh god. Yeah, the frigid outskirts is going to be not fun. But we'll deal with that when we get there. But again, yeah, next episode, Crown of the Ivory King. But again, that is for another episode. And I thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all next time.